Hey everybody, KC here. So it's St. Patrick's Day. So it seemed like an appropriate day for me to reminisce a little bit about Feargal Quinn, the legendary Irish retailer who created the iconic Superquinn chain of stores, Dublin, Ireland, environs around Dublin, and to talk about some of the things he did as an independent retailer that made him, so legendary and made those stores so amazing. One of the things that Feargal and I had the great privilege of getting to know him over the years and considered him a friend. Was one of the things that Feargal liked to talk about was that his whole view of retailing was basically formed by his experiences working for his dad. And his dad had what was called a holiday camp. I guess at those days in Ireland, what would happen is there'd be these holiday camps. And families would come to the holiday camps and they would pay one fee, and they'd pay it before they got there. And then however long they were there, a week or two, whatever it happened to be, didn't get charged for anything else. Whatever they were going to do, it was included. And the only way they knew they were successful, the Quinns did, was when, as the families were leaving, the father would turn to Feargal's father and say, Mr. Quinn, we had a lovely time. We'll be back again next year. And he said, that's the Boomerang Theory, right? You send them out knowing they're going to come back. And I even have, back when he wrote his book, Crowning the Customer, they had these great green boomerangs. I keep it in my office all the time to remind myself of the Boomerang Theory and how Feargal built his entire business based on the idea of you want to send people out with having had such a good experience that they come back the next time they need to go shopping. I mean, he did so many interesting things. One of the things he was doing decades ago was, on a regular basis, he and his executive team would go out to the stores and they would explain the numbers to the staff. So people in the stores knew how they were doing, department by department, store by store, so they could kind of judge their performance based on what other people were doing, where they needed to be better, where they were strong, where they were weak, that sort of stuff. But they were sharing this information with them, knowing that people were going to be better if they were informed, as opposed to keeping that stuff away from them because they just didn't need to know. One of the things they were doing a long, long time ago, sometimes people now will put up, enormous big TV screens with product sourcing information. Well, they would just put up posters. Like they'd have posters in the bakery saying, this is the person who grew the wheat or grew the flour that made this product. Or in the seafood department, this is the guy who caught the fish. Or this is the guy who has the farm and that's where the cows are. They were informing people about the source of product long before it was fashionable because they thought I don't even think they used the word transparent, but they thought basically by being transparent, it was going to have a positive impact on their customers and would actually build loyalty over time. And they would do things like, I remember that, you'd go into the bakery and they have a big display of brown bread. But what everybody knew is that the brown bread came out, let's say at 10 in the morning. But if you didn't get there by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the brown bread was going to be gone and you're going to have to come back the next day. They weren't afraid of having product run out, knowing that it would create demand, it would create traffic, because if you really liked their brown bread, you were going to actually go to the store when it was available. You were going to build your day around getting to the store. At the same time, they had products like they had this amazing sausage. It was their recipe. It was their proprietary product. And people would go to Superquinn, out of their way to go to Superquinn just to get the sausage. They had that thing that nobody else had. And we always talk about that here on Morning Newsbeat, right? How important it is not just to have the same products that everybody else has. You've got to have that differential advantage. And then the whole thing was built around, customer service. How are we going to give customers the best service? And, one of my favorite memories is of thinking about Feargal in the stores. He's hanging out at the front end. He's talking to moms and he's maybe even flirting a little bit and he's talking to the kids and he's just having a great old time because he knew that he was the face of that business. His was the name on the door. And the more he could connect to customers in that way, really getting to know them and letting them know him, the stronger the business is going to be in the long term. I have such great memories of spending time with Feargal Quinn. He is gone now, but I have to say, you know, I miss him a lot. I miss the voice. I miss the wisdom. I even miss the crazy socks he used to wear all the time. He liked nothing better than to, you know, hike up his pants and show the most bizarre pairs of socks that he was wearing. He was always disappointed in me because I basically have socks that are white athletic socks or black socks, and that's it. He's like, you know, you have to show a little color there, Kevin. Anyway, I'm wearing a green shirt. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this morning. Memories of Feargal Quinn. Happy St. Patrick's Day. See you next time, everybody.